of the game. Just let me know when we're getting to the facts. Everything in my stuff is facts. I'm waiting for you to return the favor. What? Thing is facts? Come on, let's be real here. Hey, you were capping too. Both of you lied. I expect rappers with lies. So we don't expect you to tell the truth. Especially during beef, people just make stuff up all the time. Legendary disses in hip-hop. We don't even know if it's true. They just made it up. So it's not a facts thing. And the way he's trying to, like, little bro him, like, yeah, you know, your fans got some raps out of you. I'm glad I could motivate you. I just see it as, what do you mean? You're bowing out right now with this track, and you're drop a song like this. That was one of the most masterful things I had ever seen in rap beef history. And the West Coast one is going to be crazy. I think when Drake heard people saying A minor and OVO in those clubs, I think he was shell shocked. You ever seen that meme where it's like a soldier and it's kind of cartoonized and he's just like, he's looking 1,000 yards just staring and he's just shell shocked. He doesn't know what's going on. I think that was Drake when he saw that in the club. He said, hold on, people are about to be dancing to a song about me with the craziest allegations that I could have on my name with these narratives, at least all over the West Coast for the foreseeable future. Nah, I can't have that. And yeah, the rest of the song, it's like, yo, Dave got your girl pregnant, all this other stuff. Be honest, even if that was proven true, I think Kendrick just has this armor that they wouldn't even care. And I was talking to a friend about this. I was telling him, if Drake proved that all of Kendrick's kids were Dave Free's kids, the way Kendrick fans or Kendrick stans move, they would say, yeah, what's the problem? He patched it up with his woman. He's been with her since high school. You know, there were some rough patches. She had 3 kids or 2 kids or however many kids by another man, but he's holding it down. He's the father that stepped up. He's a... Father, you know, like Drake, you wouldn't know nothing about that. You didn't have a stepfather, but you know, in the U.S., like the culture that you're trying to colonize, you know, it was older male figures that, you know, made sure people did X, Y, and Z. They would completely spin it upside down. I swear. That's just how I would see it happen. So Drake really couldn't have won in that realm. However, when he says, if you bump an R. Kelly, you could thank the savior, said if they deleted his music, then your music is going too, a hypocrite. This was never going to happen. Spotify was never going to remove either. Number one, this was R. Kelly and XXXTentacion. That was the main one. The CEO, founder, owner of TDE that made the statement. However, Kendrick Lamar, I do believe he had sway, of course. But you're saying Kendrick Lamar, he has to drop and give 50. He doesn't have control over his career, but it's his fault that R. Kelly's music is still bumping. That doesn't really add up. It's kind of shaky ground there. And regardless, R. Kelly's music was staying. It was just removed and signal deboosted on playlists. So it wasn't really going to show up on even algorithmic playlists, and it definitely wasn't going to show up on editorial playlists. But XXXTentacion was another one that was put on this with R. Kelly. And Kendrick Lamar showed love for XXX. He posted his album. He made like two or three tweets co-signing his first album, 17. But Drake decided to use R. Kelly instead of XXX when it came down to this bar. And I think, of course, he couldn't mention XXX because you guys know the rumors. He hasn't mentioned XXX in forever, number one. He always had problems with him after X came at him. Number two, if he mentions XXX, people will be like, oh, no, that's the guy that you killed, this and that. But I think it makes way more sense to mention XXX because XXX was accused of and on trial for brutally beating his girl. So that parallel that you're trying to draw with Kendrick Lamar allegedly being a wife beater, that aligns way more with XXX than R. Kelly. But Drake knew that, I can't drop an X bar in here, so I got to throw R. Kelly in here because I guess he's accusing Drake of being R. Kelly. Like, the bars still make sense, but I think it's way more impactful if it was XXX, but that couldn't come out from Drake's mouth. And like I said, that's not the reason you could still listen to his music. A bunch of people tried to make fun of this track saying, hey, he's just saying, you called me a liar, my pants aren't on fire. I think that's just I wouldn't say an oversimplification, but this track didn't feel like it was directed at Kendrick Lamar. It felt like you to come after Rick Ross. Nobody had any expectation of Drake coming at Rick Ross anymore at all. So you throw some bars at Rick Ross on here. You're coming at Kendrick a little bit, but this song more so feels like Drake is talking to the fans and the Twitter narratives and trying to dispel them. And some will say, hey, you address it, you look worse. You don't address it, you still look bad. Yeah, but a whole tweet. I mean, Kendrick Lamar didn't address beating his wife. He didn't address the Dave Free thing, and people were fine with that. And keep in mind, I did say that people afford Kendrick certain passes that they don't afford Drake, and that's just the game. When you're number one, you're going to get less leeway. I mean, it's kind of different, I guess, in certain sports. Like, people have to, I think it's like in boxing, and if the champ, you have to convincingly beat the champ. In hip-hop, it's kind of like, hey, the underdog, which in this case is the person that is less commercially successful. But people are saying, oh, how's Kendrick has more successful quote-unquote albums than has dropped more? Someone has to be the underdog, and in this case, it is Kendrick Lamar. Objective. Now, if you say narrative, and like I said, Drake isn't afforded the passes that Kendrick gets, sure, but that doesn't make him the underdog. So yeah, this whole song, I think it was necessary. I will say that. Because letting those allegations just fester, people are like, yo, he's still not addressing it, I think it would have been worse. And I think this is the best way he could have exited the beat. He takes the L, yes. It's not an embarrassing L. He stepped up to the plate. He gave a really good battle. He dropped some great songs in this. And this way, he puts off the whole allegations thing and he keeps his name clear, which is the most important part. And I think that's why he took the L here. Is he realized, hold on, I'm going to be painted as something that is not good at all. It's going to harm my brand deals. It's going to harm this perception around myself that I've built all this past 15 plus years, and going back and forth with this guy is not worth it. And I think there wasn't much else for him to say too, so he decided to bow out. And a lot of people are saying, nah, this beef's not over. Okay, tap me in again when he drops an actual diss track, because he's not going to. If you heard this and you think he's going to drop again, hey, if he ends up doing it, I guess you're a genius. But just from the information that we have and from my 2 ears, the one brain in between them, I don't see that happen. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. We're going to be talking about this pretty much all week, although a bunch of other stuff too. I'm in complete grind mode. I'm angry that I had to go travel and do this other stuff. It really frustrated me. So to take out that frustration, I'm just going to be popping my shit really all of the foreseeable next 2 months at minimum. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Continue. 9.
Mavericks in the second round.
I think the thing is, look, every deal has to work for both sides.
A final standing ovation and roar.
And I think we've got to a point where we just said, you know what, we can continue the conversations, but let's just table it till the end of the year.
It's great. And so, I would love to be here long term.
Things aren't looking good for the Los Angeles Clippers. This is a team that could look significantly different next year after being more or less in the same place for the past 5 years. A team that, when healthy, could be one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but alas, they just never could get healthy. So before we get to the content, we are less than 100K subscribers away from getting to 1 million subscribers. So do me a favor and check if you're subscribed if you want to help our channel get to 1 million. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Over the past few days, we've been dominating on Prize Picks. We've been hitting an NBA, MLB, and we're on a hot streak, making a ton of money while having a lot of fun while doing it. I post my picks for free on Instagram, so you can literally just go copy my picks and just enjoy the game. And right now, Prize Picks, you double your deposit match when you use my promo code FlightMike when you sign up. Or you can just click on the link in the description down below and sign up for Prize Picks. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Upon the Los Angeles Clippers losing to the Dallas Mavericks in the...
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop.
No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional-grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
First round of the playoffs, there was a lot of questions about the future of their core. See, Paul George and James Harden both have contracts set to expire, but at the same time, what about their head coach, Ty Lue? Originally, the Los Angeles Clippers were viewed as Ty Lue's backup choice. The man literally had a Los Angeles Lakers cake brought to him during his 42nd birthday. Once the Lakers and Ty Lue couldn't come to terms on a contract, the Lakers opted for Frank Vogel, and Tyronn Lue eventually found himself coaching the Los Angeles Clippers. And since then, it's been the same story each and every year. Just think about it for a second. The last time the Los Angeles Clippers had both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard fully healthy for their playoff run, it was the 2020 playoffs, when they blew a 3-1 series lead versus the Denver Nuggets. And that was before Tyronn Lue was even their head coach. That was the famous Pandemic P playoff series versus the Denver Nuggets. And following that meltdown, that's when the Los Angeles Clippers opted to move on from Doc Rivers. But ever since then, every time Tyronn Lue was able to get the Los Angeles Clippers into the playoffs, they wouldn't even be at full strength. In 2021, Kawhi Leonard was hurt, and they would lose to the eventual Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns. In 2022, Kawhi Leonard's injured, and the Los Angeles Clippers couldn't even make it into the playoffs, losing in the play-in tournament. In 2023, both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were injured, and the Clippers would lose in the first round of the playoffs. And then there's this past year, the Los Angeles Clippers had a much different strategy. They understood that Kawhi Leonard is prone to getting injured a lot. No matter what you do, no matter how little he plays during the regular season, when one of your max contract stars isn't able to make it in the playoffs, you're playing out a significant handicap. So the strategy was simple. Trade for James Harden, hope that James Harden could carry the load with Paul George, and a way below his market value Russell Westbrook, supplement some great role players, and hopefully that'd be enough if Kawhi Leonard can't play. At a specific point, one has to wonder if Tyronn Lue's getting sick of what's going on here, especially because the Los Angeles Lakers are interested in his services. But Tyronn Lue immediately put to rest those rumors.
I reported today that the franchise is looking to sign you to a long-term extension. Do you expect to be here long-term?
I hope so. I hope so. I didn't come here to bounce around and, go all over the place. And, Mr. Balmer, Lawrence, Mark, Trent, Gillian, they've all been great to me. This is where I want to be. And hopefully they feel the same way, and so no better, I haven't had a better experience, since I've been here, it's great. And so, I would love to be here long term.
Your thoughts on the Lakers kind of rumored that your name is bouncing around for their next head coaching position. Obviously you have time left here. Your overall thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't really have a comment on that. I mean, it's great to be wanted, that's a really good feeling, but like I said, I want to be here, and hopefully we're able to solidify that.
But alas, the Los Angeles Clippers have a way different problem. They already decided to sign Kawhi Leonard to a 3-year, $153 million contract. But at the same time, for Sam Amick and Law Murray from The Athletic, the Clippers feel like Kawhi Leonard needs an elite team in order to mitigate his inevitable injuries. So the article says, even with the Clippers' latest disappointing finish, a second consecutive first-round flop that followed their playoff absence back in 2022, they're expected to make strong efforts to re-sign both Paul George and James Harden. The thinking, team sources say, is that a team built around the often injured Leonard simply must have as much elite talent as possible as a way of mitigating the seemingly inevitable injuries that have come to define this Clippers era. And that makes a lot of sense. If you have one of your star players consistently getting injured, then of course you would need an elite team around him to make up for when he's not available to play. But if that's the case, why would you sign Kawhi Leonard to a contract that pays him $51 million a year annually? It's a short-term contract too, so it's not like you can look at me and say, well, Mike, the salary cap's gonna go up. It's gonna be a good contract soon. Because essentially what the Los Angeles Clippers are doing is very, very backwards, and this is gonna cause the collapse of their team. You see, James Harden is set to be a free agent this offseason, and he's already been on record saying that he wants to continue his partnership with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers currently have $169 million committed to other salaries before even factoring in James Harden. Now, the reality is there's not a lot of teams that want James Harden's services, and there's not a lot of other teams that James Harden would rather go to. There's a reason why he opted into his contract with the Philadelphia 76ers a few years ago. And in the same article, it mentions that Harden, meanwhile, is for the second successive offseason probably looking at a lukewarm market. There simply aren't a lot of teams with cash to burn, and the ones that do are either rebuilding, like the Detroit Pistons, Utah Jazz, and San Antonio Spurs, or contenders that don't make sense, like Philadelphia 76ers, OKC Thunder, and Orlando Magic. So finding some middle ground can nonetheless be tricky for Harden and the Clippers. The Clippers clearly can't rebuild because they're about to move into a brand new arena, and they're risking losing their star that hasn't been nearly as injured as Kawhi Leonard. So Evan Sideri mentions that the Clippers have made multiple contract offers to Paul George below the max, which he will not accept, per Shams Charania on Run It Back FPTV. Los Angeles wants to keep Paul George, but he appears to be heading towards unrestricted free agency this summer. Paul George just turned 34 years old a few days ago. This is without a doubt his final opportunity to secure a maximum level contract. And in the Los Angeles Clippers' minds, they're thinking,
Hey, we're giving Kawhi Leonard a below market deal. Well, in order to make this work, why don't you also take a below market deal?
but if you're Paul George, why would you do that? Why would you take less money and get paid as much as your co-star that hasn't been able to...
Continue. 9, 8.